sneaky because it feels like love when you're doing it, but it's actually a trauma. It's a trauma-informed survival strategy. There's really ADHD-specific factors that fuel this, but time blindness definitely plays a part here. Rejection sensitivity dysphoria, hyperfocus, poor interoception. But honestly, it's all of us all the time because we're all doing so much. Mental load it's not a love language. Hey squirrels, welcome to ADHD, where ADHD isn't some clinical diagnosis, it's just life. I'm AV, your always honest tour guide through this beautiful mess. Over here, we're not about fixing yourself. We're about figuring out how to actually enjoy your life as you are. So grab a snack and let's go. If the only way that your family runs is by somebody sacrificing sleep, sanity, sacrificing their self-worth, that is not at all sustainable. It's codependency dressed up as commitment. And these are the ways that a lot of our marriages end up without us intending to. Now, we all think that we have ADHD sometimes. And this podcast is specifically for people who have ADHD, but also for those people who might suspect that there's something going on and they're not really sure. A lot of us think that we have ADHD because of what we're talking about in this episode. It's because every single person in our world feels pulled in so many directions sometimes, especially if you're a parent, if you're a spouse, or if you're a business owner. The world is tugging at you in a lot of different directions all at once. So let's talk about being a super partner, being a super person, superwoman, superman. And that's something that I get called out a lot on by my friends. They'll say, okay, superwoman, because I do a little bit too much kind of all the time. The question really is, why do we romanticize doing everything ourselves? Especially, and here I'm especially talking to women and caregivers. We are so not only used to, but in love with the idea of being capable and strong enough to do everything by ourselves that we continue to put ourselves in a trap of getting stuck. There's a very complex psychological pattern that's often observed in people with ADHD or people who have high achieving brains, specifically when it comes to love and responsibility and overfunctioning. So here's a breakdown of what that really looks like. How do ADHD and high achieving brains interpret love? For many neurodivergent individuals, especially those with ADHD, and for high achievers, love gets wired together with responsibility, not in a healthy mutual care kind of a way, but in the I must earn love by being indispensable kind of a way. And this often stems from early validation being tied to performance, right? You're such a good helper. You're so smart. You're so mature for your age. And then we internalize the message that love is conditional. You're lovable because you're a good helper or so smart or mature for your age. You're lovable because of what you do, not because of who you are. And then additionally, we have a tendency to miss subtle emotional cues. And instead, we rely on clear, practical tasks as proof that we're doing something right. So love doesn't feel safe unless it's backed up by action, meaning constant doing, constant fixing, constant managing, which is exhausting for you and frankly, like annoying for the people that you are interacting with. Overfunctioning is when you take on more than your share of the emotional labor or of the decision making or daily logistics, often without being asked. In ADHD and high achieving brains, this can feel involuntary. Like I'm not doing this because I want to. It's an attempt to prevent disappointment or abandonment, right? If I don't do everything, if I don't do it all, they're going to leave me. It's an attempt to create safety. If everything's under control, I can finally relax. That's a big one for me personally. And it's a way to show love. This is how I prove that I care. By doing everything, by taking everything on, I can prove that I care. But this pattern reinforces imbalance in relationships and it breeds resentment because there's a mismatch between what you're doing and what you think you should be doing without communication. So you're just left with resentment of your partner. Ultimately, it destroys intimacy and trust over time because no one can connect authentically with somebody who's constantly managing them and, frankly, not letting them in, not telling them the truth. It's sneaky because it feels like love when you're doing it, but it's actually a trauma. It's a trauma-informed survival strategy. There's really ADHD specific factors that fuel this, and we've talked about them in previous episodes, but time blindness definitely plays a part here. Rejection sensitivity dysphoria, hyperfocus, poor interoception, right? You don't know that you're tired or that your boundaries are being depleted. Those ADHD specific characteristics really play into this, but honestly, it's all of us all the time because we're all doing so much. All of this leads to an emotional toll of being what we're calling the wife. Even if you're not married or if you're the husband who's doing it all, the wife is the role that we're assigning to this person who takes on the mental load for the entire family, themselves, the spouse, the children, and everyone around. But the mental load it's not a love language, okay? And we need to differentiate emotional labor from operational logistics. What is the emotional labor in this house? And what are the logistics that need to be taken care of? Those things get so mixed up together, and they usually fall to the same person to take care of, and that's usually wife or mom. But needing help doesn't make you less competent or less caring. To be frank, we were not designed to do all of the different things that we're doing. We weren't designed to work full 40-hour weeks and then go home and take care of our families in a system we're working outside of the house. It's not really part of the design. So we get stuck in a place of critiquing ourselves for failing in a system that was designed to fail. And that in turn fuels the resentment loop. What happens when we confuse service with sacrifice? If we are in a service relationship, I am serving you and you are serving me, we are in service of each other, that balances back out. Sacrifice, I'm doing everything for you and you're not necessarily doing for me. Here's the kicker, is when I'm doing for you and I perceive that I am sacrificing and you're doing for me and you're perceiving that you're sacrificing, but we didn't communicate the whole time. So I feel resentful and unseen and underappreciated. And on the flip side, you feel undervalued and unseen and underappreciated. So now we're fueling the resentment loops for each other, which is all great. It's lovely to know why these things are happening, but how do we fix it? Like, what do we do about all of this? And as some of you may know, my answer is always a system. Systems are the real superpower. ADHD brains resist structure, and our current lives and the demands of our current lives also resist structure, but deeply, deeply benefit from it. There's a power of predictable support that can come and bolster what is happening in your home every week. The way that we solve that at Allisto is with our Not Your Wife package. And again, the wife is the name that we're giving to the person who holds all of the mental load for the family. And Not Your Wife is a package that comes in to provide practical scaffolding without the emotional entanglement. So we support with scheduling and daily reminders and meal plans and grocery lists so that the wife doesn't have to consistently be reminding other people. What happens when the wife who took on the responsibility of making sure that everything runs smoothly is constantly reminding everyone around her what needs to happen? I'm going to give you a second because every single sitcom of our entire lives has prepared us for this. What is that woman called? She's such a nag. My wife is always nagging me. Nag, 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 nag. She's nagging you because there is a schedule and there's a system, and she told you 100 goddamn times and you still didn't do it. So now she's reminding you again and she's nagging you. And what happens? When your wife is nagging you, now you feel like she's your mom. And guess what? Not only do you feel like she's your mom, she also feels like she's your mom. And let me tell you something very, very honestly. There is nothing less sexy than feeling like the mom of your spouse. That's a really quick, relationship destroyer. Because how am I supposed to genuinely respect somebody who I am treating like a child? It's never going to work. So the response could be, well, stop treating your man like a child. And then women will say, well, my man needs to stop acting like a child, and then I'll stop treating him like a child. Just pause. We're going in circles and circles and circles because we are confusing logistics with love. We are confusing getting the support structure of your life correct with being able to work together. Sometimes, most often, we have a desire to do things the right way, and we just don't know how. So, what does it look like to delegate the right way? The first is weekly planning with support and not guilt. It's no longer within the dynamics of the couple of, ugh, I asked you 100 times to take out the trash. Why do I have to keep reminding you to take out the trash? We can plan for the week in a supportive way that's not guilt inducing. Trash day is on Mondays. It is Bob's responsibility to take out the trash. And it is Mary's responsibility to put the trash bag by the door, or whatever the division of labor happens to be in your house. There's no moral failing attached to not taking out the garbage. People want to care, they just sometimes forget to care in a timely fashion. Small help, grocery lists, calendar syncing, birthday prep, it can create huge relief. I know I said this a million times, but I just remember when I first started Allisto. I started Allisto in March. My daughter's birthday is in April. And by the time her birthday rolled around, I didn't know what the hell I was doing for her birthday. But there were 30 kids coming in like 3 days, and I did not know what I was going to do. So I reached out to my VA team in a panic and said, please help me. And they helped me plan the birthday party. And for me, that relief and the experience of having that relief of being stuck and at the last minute and being able to reach out for help and getting the help that I needed and still being able, therefore, to show up as a good mom was absolutely priceless. For any other system that works in your house, clear boundaries are key. Clear boundaries and fixed scope means that you don't have any guilt or any sneaking, creeping tasks. There's just clarity. And if there's clarity of what you're supposed to be doing, then either you did it or you didn't do it. Now it's easy. It's so simple. We want to move from firefighting, like constantly putting out fires, to flow, to just existing and flowing in the family. Because real leadership at home, it mirrors real leadership at work. Delegation, boundaries, clarity, communication, respect. These are elements of critical leadership across the board, whether you are in the workplace or at home. So stop. Just stop it. Stop trying to be everything to everyone and start designing support systems that love you back, that support you where you are and where you need to be, and that work for you and that limit the stress in your life. There are solutions to everything. You don't need to be a better parent, a better spouse, a better entrepreneur. You need to be allowed the space to be a better parent, spouse, and entrepreneur. You need support that doesn't shame you for asking. Not Your Wife isn't just help. It's a hard reset on how you should let yourself be helped. If you are done playing domestic hero and you're ready to run your family with less burnout and more brilliance, check out Not Your Wife, because we are here to support you, and your worth isn't measured by how much you can carry alone. Ask for help. Take the help. Use the help. Let the help make you a better version of yourself. And let us know how it goes. Until next time, squirrels. Bye.